Alright, so just doing a tank update. I haven't really done one in a while, so I thought I'd do an update and post it. So lots of good news and lots of bad news. So I guess we can start off with the good news. And the good news is I've got a really good and impressive amount of growth throughout the tank itself. So my Ludwigia is just popping with color, beautiful color all over the place, and these wisterias are really starting to go as well. And I got some star grass. Doesn't look so great right now, but I've got CO2 pumping into the tank now, and those will really start greening up, really vibrant green and coming through. And the Java fern's looking good. The Anubias, not so much, but I'll get into that. So the tank itself is, maximize the light a little bit. Hold on, buddy. So the tank itself is got really good plant growth, and I expect to have more plant growth really booming soon as well. I finally started dosing. Hold on, okay? Yes, sir? Okay, thank you. Hold on. I started dosing some micros in the tank. Camera's not so great, but it's got all kinds of really good nutrient for my tank. I'm doing that once every other day, and then I've got my macros as well that I'm dosing. Zoom in on those. Some good phosphates, magnesium, stuff like that. Good stuff for it. So that's the good news. And the other good news is, so let's see if I can get some good light, is I finished my reactor. So there's my CO2 reactor. So just to give an idea as to kind of what it does is I've got a tube. Hold on, buddy. I've got a tube right here from the bottom. So I've got that right there, sucks in my water. It goes down, watch out, buddy, into my filter through that tube on the right. It goes into the filter and does the filter stuff, and it shoots out of that tube, which is this one on the bottom. It goes, the water goes into this PVC. This right here is this brass barb that I got. I have my CO2 paintball tank connected to this. So this pumps CO2 into this with the water, and it mixes the CO2 in here, and then it goes through this top portion into my spray bar, which sprays back into the water. And so what that does is it allows my CO2 to mix up into my water, and it diffuses it really good. It's almost 100%. It's so funny because right now I'm videotaping. I show a lot of bubbles, but what I've noticed is whenever I aim my spray bar in a down position, like a little further down, within, a couple of minutes, it's completely clear of bubbles and whatnot. I just aim it towards the top so I can get some movement at my water. So that's the good news. The tank itself has everything that it needs now. The bad news, because I had an imbalance of CO2 to oxygen in my tank, and as well as these rocks that I have in the tank, it is causing a very bad brown algae breakout in my tank, which is not good. So I've got it building up on my tank. As you can see, I've got it on my Anubias really bad. My ferns are trying to propagate. I'm trying to get some growth on those, and they've got some really bad algae, which as well has caused these little guys, snails, which most of the time snails is a terrible thing in your tank. And I got snails in my tank. I took a plant from one of my buddies, and it had a couple on there. I wasn't able to wash them all off, so you've got to be really careful with snails in your tank, because they can take over, because one snail can produce tens and tens and tens of snails. So they don't need a buddy to breed. They can do it all on their own. So the reason that I'm not too worried about these guys right now, because these guys are eating my brown algae. So that's the good news. So there's a benefit right there. I took my old pleco out of my tank as well, and my pleco was really, really good at clearing all the algae out of my tank. I don't have him in there right now, so I'm debating as to what I'm gonna do, even if a pleco would even eat brown algae. So I've come to the conclusion, now that I've got all of the balance within my tank, I need to stop doing so much constant light, because the algae will feed off of the light. So I need to lessen my light, and I need to do more frequent water changes in my tank. And once I do more frequent water changes, I can get all of that, the minerals that are in the water that really help, the phosphates in the water help this brown algae grow. So if I can deplete it of that source, then hopefully I can get this to go away. But this is a good and bad thing, because this is a learning experience. But it'll be neat to see if I'm able to get rid of this. If I can't, then the really bad news is I'm gonna have to totally renovate my tank, which I do not want to do. But good with the bad. We'll see how it does. I'll post another update. I'll do my best to post within the next week or two. Hold on one second, buddy. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for that. I'll hopefully post another update in the next week or two, just for those who are curious as to if it's getting better or if it's getting worse or staying the same. And maybe if you have a tank of your own, you can learn from this. And yeah, so I really appreciate all of the comments and likes and whatnot. And I've had a couple people even message me on the side with, you know, information and whatnot. So enjoy. Yeah.